Nobody worry about me. Why you gotta give me a fight? Why can't you just let it be? I'm alright. Nobody worry about me. Why you gotta give me a fight? Why can't you just let it be?
There it goes. Well, I don't know if this audio is good or not, but hey, it's Friday. It's Friday Pie Day, drama, and all those things. I've got all kinds of fun stuff going on today. It's a great day. I am in a wonderful mood. Got some good news this morning, and someday I'll tell you about it. It doesn't really have much to do with anything here or company or whatever, but just general good news. I have a really big weekend planned. We're going to launch in the morning for a little 4-day road trip, and it's just all good. Hey, hi, everybody. I am Dave Rush, and this is Drama. Dave Rush Ask Me Anything. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars and resident pie specialist, and we get together every Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time, Central Standard Time, Central Daylight Time, whatever. If it's 2 o'clock, that's what time we do this. And we talk about what it takes to get certified in all kinds of areas of certification. Our bailiwick is the CompTIA trifecta, A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. And it's not just about that. Of course, we're not just focused on that. We'll do any kind of certification if I know anything about it, or if you know anything about it, we can pursue it. But the goal of this show is to integrate Raspberry Pis into our training so we can use them as tools to experiment with, to create servers that we might connect to as part of our studies, whatever the case may be. So it's not a Raspberry Pi show, but it is a show in which we take advantage of Raspberry Pis to help foster our learning. Why do we do that? Because Raspberry Pis are fun. They're inexpensive. So for all the servers that you might want to make if you're building your own lab or want to do some experimenting, you could do a virtual machine, but that means you have to dedicate resources from your own computer. You could go buy another machine. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, but you're still going to go out and buy a machine, and it's got a case and it's got the big power supply, and oh yeah, I need RAM and I need the best CPU. And you know what? 35 bucks, you got yourself a Raspberry Pi and the world's a happy place. I just made my tea, sorry, and the sugar hasn't dissolved yet, so forgive me just a moment here while I do some stirring and spinning. There we go. I have had a very, very good week as far as work goes. I've been extremely productive. It's a weird deal. There are things that I can't do during the day because it requires other people. My wife and my son are helping out, and they can't do that until after business hours. So I work on scripts during the day and all my other day-to-day responsibilities. And we get together somewhere around 5 o'clock, grab a little dinner, and then one of them and I park ourselves in our new temporary studio and shoot simulation shows. And the first ones we shot, they looked good, but when we played them back, a lot of them sounded bad. We figured out why in the long term, but I got to reshoot a handful of those. But as far as the ones unshot, I am thrilled to say I got 5 more tonight, and then either 10 or 12, there's a decision that has to be made, and I will have been through all of them once. And then if I have to reshoot any, the good news is all the setups are ready to go and everything is ready. I can turn those all quite quickly and finally get this project off my back. Why is that exciting, you ask? Because I got the green light to develop a Linux course. Not clear if it's going to be a Linux Plus or just Linux, but I get to develop a Linux course, and I haven't written word one on it other than an outline that I made some months ago, but just thrilled to get my hooks into that piece of meat. So let's see who's joined us. It's a short list so far. What do we got here? Not many people in for the moment, but a few. Tulwit, as ever and always, more than half an hour early before the show started. Oh, that's on Top Chat. I got to change that to live chat. I am alone today. Andrew is a little under the weather, so Forgive me if some of the things that we do together take a hair longer, but it's not bad. I got a fun show today. It's not long. Just kind of a neat, it's a Linuxy thing, but it's Linux that you have to know for A+ certification, but not to the level of depth that I'm going to get into here. And I'm not going to do a deep dive into it, but I am going to take you above and beyond. This is what it is. This is what it does. Okay, moving on. We're going to experiment a little bit with a cool utility in there. Just a grace. If anybody's wondering, the peanut butter lovers, Reese's cups are good. They are. They're real good. You're welcome. Well, I'm so pleased to hear that. I think that in the US, the #1 candy confectionery is Reese cups. I hear that year after year, certainly around Halloween and things like that, when for give outs, that's what everybody loves. So kudos. I can't have them anymore, all part of the big new diet. So I eat these fake peanut butter cups. I have no idea if I've got salmonella from them. Somebody in the house the other day came down with about a half a day's worth of symptoms of something untoward, but we don't know what it is. But I do have one a day. That's part of my dessert, and I really love peanut butter cups. A bit too sweet, says Marius 9 Tango. Okay. To each their own. Will Shaw is amongst us. He's up in Dallas. Won't be on too long. Got to catch a nap. It's got a long night. Okay. Night flying. So you guys are cutting back on flights over at Delta so that I like the logic here. We are cutting back on our number of flights so we don't have to cancel so many flights because of understaffing and whatever other circumstances. So we just cancel them in advance and call it trimming rather than cancel them on schedule. And I understand there's some benefits to that, but I do love corporate double speak, especially from the airlines. What do we got here? Day weather delays and broken APU on go home day. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's a long night. We got to talk about APUs in the private forum over on Discord. Will, I have an interesting story about solar APUs. Will show you, okay, and Will is explaining to everyone else what an APU is. It's an auxiliary power unit, not that AMD CPU. Oh, all right, so I'll fill that in just a little bit further because my presentation is a little short today, so I'm going to fill some time. An APU is a tiny little turbine jet engine. It's kind of in the shape of a ball. It's got inlets for air and oil and outlets for air and hydraulics and things like that. It's only about yay big, but it's a couple hundred horsepower, and it connects to a generator and sends air where needed. So when you're sitting on the ground and they don't want to run the engines for real, but you need electricity, you need air conditioning in the plane, the guys up front, the ladies up front, fire up this auxiliary power unit. That's why, even though the engines aren't running, if you walk around an airplane, it just sounds enormously loud. Well, yeah, there's a jet engine back there near the tail section, and that huge loud exhaust coming out of there, and even the inlets make gigantic noises. It's one of the reasons when I was younger, running around the airfield and as a first officer, I spent a lot of time outside the aircraft inspecting and things like that. And we weren't so concerned about our hearing back in them days. And I have paid the penalty for that. My hearing is not what it should be at my age. I should have less hearing than when I was 22, but not this much less, nonetheless. TD Washington is amongst us. The audio is good. Thank you, Will. Ali Old Ramul is amongst us. Good to see you, my friend. It must be B. It must be B. Sorry, me is back. Recent winner. And I got yours. Did I get your stuff submitted? I think it's in the submission list for tonight. By the way, if you win a contest today, you've got to get me your stuff tonight. I'm not going to carry these past the weekend anymore. You have to submit it the week that you want it. I know that puts people who are here on Friday in a bit of a bind. I got to do mine quicker than everybody else does. Yes, you do. It's still free. It only takes you 5 minutes. So Andre de Goyert, I joined us. All right. Andre, I made a special reference for you today. Did I post it? I didn't post it after all that. Oh man, where the heck did it go? Where did it go? Well, I guess that means I can use it next week. What a bummer. I usually have that Dave will be on in a minute. Please enjoy the something or others. And in my something or others, how the heck did it get deleted? I'm going to put it up there anyways, because it was clever and fun. At least I think I'm clever and fun. And people watching this silently will say, why is Dave doing a welcome 10 minutes after the show started? There it is. Highlight it, copy it. And I'll do this. I'll send it and discover that I already sent it earlier. There we go. Special reference for Andre because we like him. And rumor has it he likes us. Let's see. What are we going to do here? We got to highlight whatever's going to go up next. This stuff goes up next. All right. What else is cooking? Must Be Me is here. Also, everyone, don't forget that Mexican pizza is back. Okay. I will try to remember that. Where is that back? Is that something that one of the pizza chains is offering now? Something tells me I heard something about that, but I do not recall. I need to learn Linux commands for the A+ exam. We did a show very early on in this series that covered in either 1 day or 2 days only the commands that you need to know for A+. Now that one was for the current 10.01 and 10.02. I'm going to have to update it because there's a few new commands that you've got to know. They've been added to the list. They got rid of some of the old stuff. For instance, apt-get. An important command. People still use it. It's still built into many distros, but it has been deprecated officially, and some distros no longer include it, and it has been replaced by apt. And so, but they work the same for everything that you need to know. Let me pull this up and put the date of the first one up. That was in 2020, stream 2020. We couldn't find your file. Was it moved? It must be me. Contact me today. I wasn't going to go on to Discord, but contact me on Discord today after the show. I'll be on about 10 minutes after the show for a little while, 10 or 15 minutes. I've got to get this road trip prepped and packed. And I will give you a link for the show that covers all the Linux commands that you needed to know for A+ for 10.0x. And then in a couple of weeks, I'll do an update on that show and just add the new commands that you need to know. We'll make that part of a growth thing. Yeah, it doesn't fit in a patch rack, but it is very small and still a couple hundred horsepower. That's a nice thing about turbine engines, right? Chris Kent, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. My favorite day of the week until Saturday comes around. No, this is my favorite day of the week. I love doing this thing. And you know what? My missus was just walking out the door a couple seconds before the show started, and she said, hey, is Mike doing his show on Monday? And I said, why wouldn't Mike do his show on Monday? What do you know that I don't know? Oh, yeah, Monday is a national holiday here in the States. Now, Mike tends to work, at least do shows on national holidays, but I don't know. If Andrew was here, I would say, hey, Andrew, contact Mike and see if he's planning on doing a show. And tell you what, I'm going to send him a message on the back channel right now, just to see if we can get that answer in time before the show ends. At Mike Myers, are you doing your AMA on Monday, parentheses, Memorial Day? Okay, message is sent. We'll see. Now, will he receive it? I saw him online this morning gaming. Don't remember what game I saw him playing, but it wasn't WoW. So we'll see. He may be otherwise focused. He says no. Okay. got to send back a response. All right, typing. Yes. We'll post a message. It would be cool if you did a 30-second video that we could post. But otherwise, I'll post a message. All right. So there we go. It was a good question on the part of my missus. Now, you know, there will not be a Mike Myers Monday AMA this Monday, Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022, for the sake of accuracy and completion. All right, back to messages here. Different APU. Thank you. Everybody knows APU is the guy who runs the Quickie Mart on The Simpsons. That's what I get every time I look up APU for some reason. I mean, it's always aircraft oriented. What the heck just happened there? Oh, you're such a goober. Goodness gracious. Sorry, I got to fix this. I mangled something. I sent a message to Kathy Yale saying, very good, thank you. And she'll have no idea what that means. Delete it from here. Now go back to live stream and post it here. All right, I see what happened. Okay, we're back in business. So it must be me. Glad I got the, in last time. Yep, okay. And then my message for me with its special notice just for Andre de Goyert. JD and Sam Gunter, Taco Bell. Oh, Taco Bell. Okay. They're doing the Mexican pizza. I cannot tell you the last time I was in a Taco Bell. It was way before I started this new eating lifestyle of mine. There we go. Andre says, I don't know how to pronounce that. Bocapujis, which is from what I learned, Bocapujis officially stands for goat feet, but it's this nice little chocolate ended dessert pastry that looked really lovely when I saw it in research. Okay, Mike is making a 30-second video right now. Good. All right, Crazy Homebody's girl is here. She is popping up everywhere again. Nice to see you again. Mike was gaming. Must have been something peaceful like World of Tanks, Battlefield, or Counter-Strike. It was none of those. You know, I sent him a message when I saw him playing this the other day, so there's probably a record in my Steam messages. Let me go look in Steam messages and tell you what Mike was playing. Because again, I need to kill a little time today. Library, community, insurgency, stadium, friends. He's a friend. You guys are all my friends. Okay, Senor Pepe is online. Go to send message and see, this doesn't seem like WoW Classic. Okay, so it shows the message that I sent to him, but it doesn't say what he was playing. So we're out of that. Bocapujis. It's got to be Bocapujis. Reading messages here. And Bocapujis are a Dutch cookie, chocolate on both ends. True. All right, I got it right. And we'll saw. All right, I'm out of here. Have fun concatenating. Thank you. You're exactly right. Very good. We will be in touch when you get back to home port. And I hope you're in the jump seat of a cool airline. Fly in the jump seat, in the flight deck of a Boeing. Okay, Boeing. Those are the ones where you have to think ahead of the airplane. It doesn't do all the thinking for you, like that cute little English French thing you drive. Teasing. Have a good safe flight. All right, let's see what's In my notes for the day, what is this document? That is a document that definitely does not need to be up. There's one that could stand to be up. And I shrunk it as soon as I clicked it. What a goober. For a guy who's having a good day, I'm having a rough day in around the edges. All right, all that nonsense, get past it. If you're tracking, this is episode number 94 in drama. We've got our 2-year anniversary show coming up here at the end of July, 7/31. Cannot wait. Can't wait. I will have this project out of my hands in the next week or so, notwithstanding this vacation, and then I can go to management and propose, hey, I want to do something big and cool like I did for Mike's show, like Mike did for his show, however you want to describe that, with lots of giveaways. I want to devote the whole show to some Q&A and giveaways. That'll be more fun. I'm not reading all that junk again. You've heard it so many times. Not reading it again. I'm going to start pulling that out of these outlines here. However, it is important that you know how to contact me. And of course, this is an AMA. The best thing to do is to ask me a question here live online using the YouTube chat feature. But if that's not possible, maybe you're watching an archive or not live, whatever the case may be, and you still, for some odd reason, would like to get in touch with Dave Rush, it's not impossible. In fact, it's a lot of fun, and you can count on a reply from me pretty darn quickly. So send me an email. I'm Dave Rush. I work for TotalSeminars.com. I work for Total Seminars, and we have a website called TotalSem.com. So if you put my first name and my last initial together and at that to Total Sem, you will be able to contact me. You can also contact me via my personal email if you prefer. Please don't do both. drushtx@yahoo.com. Andrew's not here, but if you want to talk with him, he's Andrew Hutz. So Andrew H at TotalSem.com. And Mike Myers is Michael M within the company. So if you want to communicate directly with Mike Myers himself, Michael M at TotalSem.com. There's other ways to contact us at the company. Pause your screen here if you're watching this later, and you can find out ways to do that. While we've got this page up, let's take care of the other stuff that's good, and I will pass this on. All of my documents that I use to create shows, my outlines, my pictures, my PDFs, and everything, I put together in a little zip file and put them up on a file server, a web server rather, that I bring up every weekend. I brought it up early on Friday morning. I shut it down on late Sunday night, and I will bring it up on request during the week. If you just send me an email or contact me on Discord or whatever and say, hey, here's when I need it up, I'm going to download your stuff, I will bring it up at that time. I'm not willing to run it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at this time. But you will find that server sitting right here on top of my desk at HTTP, not S. If you've got a browser that adds S, it's going to say no connect or whatever. Just dump that S and make it HTTP. PIR square, PIR square.zapto.org. When will they, this just dawned on me, when will URLs be allowed to include special characters, symbols, shapes? Would that be cool? There's like a little picture of a pie and the letter R and then a square. And I don't know what the heck Zapto is. That's just something I was forced into by my domain provider. Anyways, that'll be cool someday. pirsquare.zapto.org to get to all my happy stuff. I will post this information in the chat as soon as I'm done sharing it with you up here. And the same for the next slide. Just because you're kind enough to join us, and this includes if you're watching in the archive, at least for a week, we have specials every week. It's typically the same special. We haven't worked out some new deals of late, so a lot of people have already got this, but there's always new products coming online, and we got new bundles. You can have 50% off of a bundle that you create on our vendor site at TotalSem.com. And what you do is you pick an area of study that you're interested in. Maybe it's pen test, maybe it's AWS Systems Architecture Associate. And what you do is you create a bundle by going through our vendor area and selecting the ebook for that subject and the total tester, which is our practice test questions for that subject. Put them both in the basket. And then when you check out this week through this Sunday, May 29th, use the code GLASSES Monday of this week, back in around 1888, something like that, 1886 somewhere. Ben Franklin announced his invention of bifocals. So I thought glasses was a nice homage to him this week. So use the code GLASSES when you check out, and you will get 50% off of those two things, which basically you're getting one for free. And we are already so much less expensive than comparable, if you want to call them that, products from our competitors. We're practically giving them away. We're crazy like that. And also finally, last slide for here. There exists a Discord channel called the Unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel. I call it UTSD. That is not owned or operated by Total Seminars. That's why it's unofficial. It's created by Siegfried, who is occasional here. A couple of the moderators are here. Tulowit is a moderator, and Andre de Goyer is a moderator. I'm not sure who else is here. But if you will join us there with this link, and again, I'll post this in the YouTube chat so you can just click the link. It's a permanent link, and we get together 24 hours a day. There's 375 plus users on the channel now. That's really good. I know, you think about Yahoo with 8 million users, but to put together a forum, and in 6 months, 5 months, whatever, how long it's been up now, you got 400 users, all who are really focused people to get together to talk about all things CompTIA and total seminars, and my computer's broke, help me, or hey, I can help with your broken computer, and Linux and Raspberry Pi and all kinds of other sub forums and discussion areas on there. It is a ton of fun. Encourage you to join. I will be on there about 10 minutes after the show to get It Must Be Me some info, and we can do cameras and microphones. I'll do that. You can do that. You can just text in whatever makes you happy. It is a load of fun. It's a really, really good site. That's what I tried to say. And kudos to all of the fine people who have created and support it. It's just fantastic work what they do there. Thanks. All right, we just stop that share. We'll go back into here. What else is cooking? More messages. More messages. Oh, and there have been more here. Mike was gaming. Boca Poojies. Will Shaw left. JD and Gunter took Network Plus exam 007 this morning and passed. Congratulations. Wonderful. Know your ports. Absolutely. Memorize them. I have in the download document stuff at pirsquare.zapto.org a document, a PDF that has every port that you have to know for the current A+, for the current and the new Network Plus, and for the current Security Plus. And I will start next week updating the ports for the new A+. There's a few new ones that have been added. I don't think any have been deleted. So it's wonderful. Congratulations. I'm on the Discord channel if anybody wants to ask me about it later. Remember, JD and Sam Gunter, you may not disclose anything that you got from the exam. That would be a violation of the NDA, but you can discuss things generically. Hey, do you know that port 22 is the SSH port? Good thing to know. Okay, don't tell them the SIMs that you got, the PBQs. Don't tell them specific questions, but sharing knowledge that's important to know is good. Now, remember, they create these randomized tests, and some of them have 10 questions about ports, and some of them have 1 or 2. So, if you go and study them all, and you got them all down and aced, and then you go in and you take the test and you get 1 question about it, don't come back and gripe, man, I only got 1 question. I put all that study into it. Big deal. So you didn't get asked that. It's real world useful information that you need as a tech. I spent a lot of time doing some stuff in the last 3 days with ports, and knowing a lot of ports and their value, and you can learn them in the beginning by memorizing them, but use them, and then you really start to memorize them. They ingrain. Andre has put up a picture of Boca Poojies in the general forum on Discord. Okay, I looked at them today. They're very nice. It must be me, Dave Rush. My browser says your website doesn't have an HTTPS option. That's right. That's what I described. So go to HTTP. It is absolutely okay and safe. It's right there. I haven't put any malware on it yet. I'm thinking about it. I'm ready to go here. Some people prefer paperbacks, so they print the ebook. I don't know how to respond to that, other than that is not something that is actually approved by the ebook license. So make your own decisions about what you feel is right. Chris Kent, I have my A+ test this Tuesday. Do you have any last minute tips? Yes. Take a practice test. Find out what you don't know. Study that. Repeat. Do that Saturday, Sunday. Monday, take the day off. Let it stew. Let it percolate. Get calm. And then get a good night's sleep on Tuesday morning. Go in Tuesday afternoon, whatever time it is. Go in, take the test, pass the test, and come back and report to Mike on Wednesday. Best of luck. That's the way to do it. Just keep finding your weak areas and brush up on them. I'm digging the drama digital sign. So I have always wanted one of those. I have digital signs as part of my side hustle, big ones, many of them. And I've always considered putting one up behind me, and it's just too big of a hassle. They're heavy, they're large. What a royal pain. And I have always wanted one for my car that's got suction cups on it. You know, your lights don't work. Hi, the ham radio frequency that I'm listening to when I travel, whatever the case may be. But you guys know me, I am the cheapest human being on earth, not willing to pay retail price for it. So I've waited for years and years and years. And I finally ran across one a week or so ago and said, yep, that's it. Got it. So a day or two ago, I learned to program it and thought I'd just hang that and have a little fun with it until or unless I'm traveling. What a pain to program. You can, it comes with 99 preset messages, and about a third of them are business oriented. You know, we open at 9 a.m. You get in a car, and then there's another third of them or so that are in Spanish, which works great in Houston. If I want to, you know, put a message up, but they're business, so Spanish business oriented. And then the last third of them oriented in English. And so, okay, picking a pre-done message is not a big deal with the remote. But I'm telling you, if you were going to program a message on the fly, hey, your left front is flat. It's an 11-minute project, and you got to have two people. This is not something, it's like texting. To do it alone, and you shouldn't. This one, I do. Okay, I don't do it much, but on occasion I'll do it. This, I would not even dream of trying to program my little LED crawler while driving. It must be me for SSH. I memorized it as SSH. It's too quiet. So I get two out of that, but if you memorize it, I'm good for you. However you choose to memorize your own. I've done this before. I hate to repeat myself, and I won't do it as much as I don't know, somebody else who does these kind of shows on, let's say, Mondays and Wednesdays on this same channel at this same time. But I will repeat this one. When I'm teaching networking, network plus courses or general networking courses, and we give ideas on what ports you want to learn and know for the exam and things like that. SMTP, anybody know what SMTP is? It's the simple mail transfer protocol. It's the protocol used for sending outbound email. And so I always give them this little trick to memorize that one. SMTP, send mail. TP is SMTP uses port 25, so TP 25 with a PH. It works for me. It works for my students. As long as they can remember it for 5 days before they take the exam, I'm happy with it. But it'll never leave me. Shh. Oh, okay. Shh, it's too quiet. Okay. So I was looking for you making it stand for something besides secure shell. Silence, silly human. That was pretty good. Okay. All right. Well, that gets me through those questions. Let's see what else is up in the outline. We did contact information. We did specials. Today's project. So we're going to do a project today on a command in Linux called cat. Cat is, if you're using cat as a new user, you probably use it to do one thing, and that is to send the contents of a text file onto your screen. Cool, it's what it does. However, it's more powerful than that. It can do a lot of really cool things, and it can do a lot of cool things working with other programs as well. I'm going to show you 10 cool things from a tutorial that I borrowed, and it wasn't perfect for our kind of presentation, so I've edited it up a little bit, but you could work directly from their tutorial, and I'll post that link in. Oh, I didn't post the links for the special and for Pi R Square. Sorry, let me interrupt myself here to do that. Show notes. Okay, show specials. Okay, whatever the current time mark is, it looks like at about 36 minutes past the first hour. There's the information on today's special. It's good for the Sunday night, midnight, or whatever that is my time. And here's the Discord invitation, also about 36 minutes past the hour. So you can just click on that link if you're already a Discord member and join us. You'll automatically be accepted. And if not, you sign up with Discord and off you go. Hey, let me cover this because this happens sometimes and I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want you to seem offended. People on Discord do friend requests for me all the time, and I decline them. And it has nothing to do with me not wanting to be your friend. Just for asking me to accept your friend request, you are my friend. I am your friend, and you may count on me. However, I have this very high level of paranoia about the owners and operators of social media, and I don't want them to know anything more about me than I have to in order to be a member of their product. And so that goes as far as I don't want them to know who I consider my friends and who I don't. So if you friend request me, don't be offended. I do a short version of this message when I say, I'm sorry I declined you. It's because of my paranoia, not because it's you. You get the idea. All right. Where are we going to go with this? We did glasses. Oh, wow. Ben Franklin, I said 18 something. He was long dead. 1785 is when Ben Franklin announced his invention of bifocals. Monday of this week, May 23rd. All right, back to where I was. Remember, okay, so we're going to do a thing with the cat command today. And the nice thing about cat, it stands for concatenate, and it had a different use back in its day when it was short for concatenate. Remember, concatenate means push things together, take two things and make them into one smaller thing. Cat basically now means send the contents of a file to the screen. You don't need a Raspberry Pi to play with cat or to do anything we're going to do today. That's built into just about every distro, certainly every major distro, and they all look and work pretty much the same, some microscopic differences. But if you want to play this in the Ubuntu virtual machine that you've already got set up on your thing, absolutely fine if you don't have a Raspberry Pi yet, or any other flavor of Ubuntu. Okay, that takes care of that. Where we've been, where we're going. So last week, we did some log reviewing using the journal CTL command. In distros that use systemd, there is a program, a daemon, a service called journald, and it watches all the systemd functional programs. By the way, Raspberry Pi, Debian, Ubuntu, all of those are systemd systems, and there's lots more out there. Even the Red Hat variants, Red Hat, Fedora, Alma Linux, now defunct, but their old products are still around, CentOS, and my favorite, Rocky Linux, because it's available for the Pi as well as x86. All those are systemd as well. Little micro differences in how they operate. I showed that in the show last week. But anyways, you get this journald process running in the background, and it's running and making logs of all of the system D programs that are running, which is all the internal programs, logins, boot ups, errors, SSH logs, Apache logs, and many, many others. So journal CTL is the command to view those logs. And we did about 20 minutes on that. So last week, maybe 25, something like that. Important for both prepping for A+ exams and certainly as a network or Linux technician, administrator. You live and die in logs. You live and die on commands in the command line. But Dave, I like GUIs. I like GUIs too. But professional Linux operators live in the command line because sometimes, most of the time, it's a lot quicker to do things with a command line than it is to go hunt through all the menus and submenus and things like that in a GUI to get to some simple little thing. So where we're going today, we're going to take a dive into the Linux cat command. It's most commonly used to display contents of a text file on the screen. Does a lot more. So let's put up the tutorial link. I'll put that first of all in the chat feed. Tutorial, the cat command. And let's do the slide for it. Tutorial link right there. Share that slide. This is in case you don't want to go hunting. If you're watching on the archive, you don't want to go hunting through the YouTube chat, that you can just pause your screen right here and right about now using the cat command on Raspberry Pi. This is a tutorial that I found very recently. It's over on rosehosting.com in Whack blog. And then this is a common way of naming pages now. It's very different than the way we have historically named pages, but there's sentences or phrases where each word or term is separated by a dash. So 10 basic cat commands in Linux with examples. Separate all those with dashes, and there you go. So we're going to use a lot of that tutorial today, but I've modified a lot of it to make it work a little better on my systems and for presentation purposes. And that's good tea. All right. News, tricks, and techniques of the week. I'll get that out of the way. You do not want to be a drummer. I posted a message in general today as this has kind of all happened. It's been a bad week for celebrity passings. So I want to go back a little further. If we go to the end of March, we lost Taylor Hawking, the drummer for Foo Fighters. He was 50. Yesterday, we lost two drummers. Alan White, the drummer for Yes since 1972. Okay, he's 72. Those old rockers are all passing away. And the drummer for Depeche Mode, who's obviously not the original drummer because he's only 50. I guess he's 50. Yeah, he's probably not the original. I didn't dig him up, but there you go. Who else? Oh, yeah. And then, of course, 2 days ago or so on the weekend, a couple days ago, Ray Liotta, the great actor from Goodfellas and Field of Dreams and a lot of other credits to his name. He passed, also very young, 67. I say very young because I am just, that far, and I don't feel old. I look old. All that brown I did for an event a couple weeks ago, disappearing rapidly. I got the gray top of the mustache, a little bit of brown left on the bottom. The hair is still brown with silver in it, but why do I do this stuff? As ever and always, we'll have a contest today in very short order here, probably in the next 5 or 6 minutes. So let's see what's happening back on the chat feed while we kill time to accomplish that. What is that? All right, back to where I was. It was 219. So that was JD and Sam. What do we got here? There was something I missed in your post here. I'm on Discord channel if anyone wants to talk about it later. Heading out to celebrate with my family at Top Golf. I have something about Top Golf. can't do it yet. I got something coming up about Top Golf. Trying to remember who I shared it with. There's only one other person because we're going to do something really interesting. All right. Very welcome, JD. Ali congratulates JD and Sam. Caps off to you. I don't know if he has caps on or caps off. He seems to be typing in lowercase mostly. Some people prefer, okay, we read that. Digging drama, SSH, got it, thank you. Okay, there was the All right, here's first new post that I didn't have highlighted. King Vel is amongst us. Good afternoon, guten Tag. I don't know if that's well or what it's short for, Vel, but Willkommen. Wilson's back with us. Master Wilson, nice to see you, sir. There's our specials for the day posted at 2:36 and the Discord invitation. Fair point, thank you. King Vel is greeted by Chris Kent, the tutorial, the cat command. I meant to say the cat command. Oh, well, you get the idea. David Zentera's amongst us. It should be noted that Taylor Hawkins died of a drug overdose, not COVID-19. Why should that be noticed? I mean, first of all, find me a rocker, especially a classic rocker or somebody who stems from that, and even a current pop rocker who has achieved great celebrity who didn't pass away under the influence. Yeah, there's a few. And by the way, don't give me the lost his name, the Pittsburgh quarterback who got run over by a dump truck down in Florida a couple of weeks ago. He was discovered with, what's that horse tranquilizer? The horse tranquilizer stuff and the meta version of it. Ketamine and metaketamine, something like that. So yeah, getting clobbered on a highway. What a shock. I look distinguished. Thank you. You know, I'm looking at this look. I see myself in the playback. I could almost play John, the Richard Attenborough character on the Jurassic Park series. John Hemmings. Somebody tell me what his character name is. I may send them a message. Hey, if you do another one and you need the ghost of John, I may have you covered here. It's still got a little bit of puffiness from more weight to lose, but the hat's just right for him. I just may have that. Wilson likes my hat. Thank you. Must be mean. The Teletubbies. You people, you're twisted. And I like it. Foo Fighters had a concert that had a vax requirement. Oh, okay. Well, okay, so he didn't die of COVID. He perhaps followed his own rules, and the fully vaccinated band caught COVID-19. Yeah, well, look, the vaccine, as we know, I'm not going to do religion helps in politics here, health and politics, but as we know, none of the vaccines was ever actually designed to prevent COVID. It was designed to ameliorate some of the symptoms and help reduce hospitalization. Of course, now I'll go political because get my rant going here. It just ticks me off that they announced you've got to get vaccinated to reduce the number of instances of COVID. They flat out lied. I don't care if they did what they did and they told us about that, but sorry, Fauci, Bricks, all of those people, they bloody lied. All right, sorry, I'll go down a road and we'll be done with the show in an hour and a half while Dave rants about that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not an anarchist or any of that nonsense, but this is, in my opinion, so poorly mishandled. John Hammond, thank you. His middle name, tell me that you knew his middle name off the top of your head and that didn't come from a little time with Google.com. If you know that, I am going to be so knocked out. Nobody is that big of a fan of the Jurassic Park series that they should know John Hammond's middle name. Andre Gummy Bears, David. I should call it vacation instead, so it gets censored. That's right. You've been canceled. Tell you are a conspiracy theorist. I've certainly heard some of that. It was in the novel. Okay. What, people read that stuff? You go see the movie. Goodness gracious. I'm looking forward to the new movie. I like them all, and it looks like they're bringing a lot of the old cast, including hopefully everybody's favorite actor, Jeff Goldblum. Man, give me some Jeff Goldblum. I'm going to give you a movie with Jeff Goldblum in it. Nobody has seen this, and of the people that have, half of them hate it. But I want you to watch this movie because you guys are all weird and nerd and geeks, and this movie belongs to you. When you watch it, even if you hate it, wait for 2 months and watch it again. And if you become a fan, like my wife and I, watch it a couple of times a year. I have seen it dozens of times, and I find something new and different every single time. It's just awesome. It's like The Exorcist. It keeps getting funnier. Right? You get that reference? Somebody please get that reference. Yeah. LMBO. Everybody is in The Fly, right? Oh man, he was an awesome Fly. Was he better than Vincent Price in the original 1956 or so movie? Heck yeah. Yeah, because look who he was acting with. Crazy Homebody Girl. The new Jurassic Park movie does look good. My kid is desperate to see the new Maverick. We watched the old Top Gun the other day. I don't know. Give me your movie reviews. Should I see the new Maverick? Independence Day. Yes, he was absolutely wonderful in Independence Day. Don't say Fight Club. Tell it. Wait, his initials are JAH. That's a veiled reference to Jaws. Okay, so if we're going to go down Hebrew and Yiddish, sure. If only it was Yahweh, right? Or Yahweh, since Hammond was playing God. That would be really cool if Bob Crichton actually did that. That would just be awesome. Michael Keaton, yeah, okay. But I'm going with Crichton, the author. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's give something away. Now's a perfect time. It's about 8 minutes till the next hour. TTO giveaway contesto. I don't have to put this up on the back channel. I'll be all by myself. Let me make sure I've got everything set up in advance so that it goes smoothly. We save that and we bring this document up. Voucher winners. Today is 2/27. Okay. All right. So we're going to do, sorry, that says voucher winners. It's total test. We are not doing vouchers. Vouchers will be back. I can't tell quite how quickly, but I know that everything is in the works to happen. And I don't know whose court the ball is in right now, but we know what we have to do and we can do it very easily. So I think all we're waiting for is the grand genuflection and off we go and do our thing, which, we can do in 30 minutes or less. All right, so let's talk about this giveaway today. We are giving away a 90-day access to any Total Tester online practice test in the Total Seminars inventory. So we've got most or many of the CompTIA ones. We've got AWS ones. We have other ones. You can find out from our totalsem.com page. Go down to vendor and look for Total Tester online. You'll see all the different ones we have. If you win today, pick one of those and you're going to send me an email today. I'm going to put the exact specific instructions. You guys are the only ones who actually follow these instructions because I take the time to go through them and say what you have to do. Everybody else might just says, send an email to Dave and include these 4 pieces of information. And sometimes people actually bother to at least try to put in 4 pieces, but so many times they miss 1 or 2. And then we have to do the back and forth emails. You guys, you get it right the first time. You read it and copy paste off of the chat feed. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. And get that to me tonight. I have to get that sent to the appropriate people before midnight tonight for it to be processed in time. The nice folks who do that after I gather the information and turn it into something that they can use, they try to crank that out as soon as they get in the office on Monday morning. And since I have taken over this responsibility, it has happened that way every time. It won't forever. People take vacation. It's not going to happen this Monday. Monday's a national holiday here, but you get the idea. It'll be probably handled as soon as they get back in the office, unless they take a whole week's vacation, then it'll come in next week, but that's the way it works. I try to keep this as fair as possible. I do that so you don't have to know anything about computers or CompTIA or anything like that. We use a random number selector. I put a range of random numbers at randomnumbergenerator.com. It spits out a random number between that range, and that's what you're going to try to guess. I'm going to give you the range. You can post 3 guesses in 3 separate posts, right? Don't give me on one post 1, 2, 3. I need 3 different posts. 1, new post, 2, new post, 3. I know I go over this in way too much detail, but it works right almost every time. So it's worth the time to me. All right, is that enough stuff? You can win. You can have won before, but help me out. If you've won before, say pass after your name. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pass. If everybody says pass, then I got to pick somebody there. But it does help me so I don't have to go hunt for somebody who's won 5 times and say, no, that's too many. You got Mohan, is in Mike's words. I want to give it to somebody who hasn't won more than 1 or 2, or hopefully has never won yet. Hope that's going to be you today. All right, with that then, let's, man. All right, I just realized a huge mistake that I made. You know what? I am changing the answer because I posted, I think in my notes, accidentally, the range and the answer that got generated. So I'm going to put up a new range and I'm going to generate a new number myself. So if you downloaded already today's documents and you read down and you find out what day his range was and what his answer is, it is now out the window. Sorry about that. It's been a fun day for me, fun couple of days, but I was a little sloppy in some of my things this morning. All right. The winning number is going to be this, like this one. Yeah, okay, here's the winning number. We save that. I got to put this here. Stand by. Update to this number, update to this number, and update to this number. There's a chance I'm wrong and that I didn't make that mistake, but just in case I did, now I'm well covered. All right, so with that, let me give you a range of numbers. Closest to without going over wins. Again, you get 3 chances. The range is 800 to 1500 inclusive. Give me a guess of a number. 3 times you can guess for a random number between 800 and 1500. Closest to in 3 guesses wins. Oh, I got to change it here too. So while you're posting answers, got to put it on this page. Everybody gets mistakes. I do at least one notable one for each of these shows. That'll be my big one for today. All right, what do we got here going on? Death Wish. He was in Death Wish. All right, I see numbers coming in here. Okay, there's the winning number so far. See who got closer. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There is somebody who posted a guess that is within 5. If you get closer than that, it's because you're standing over my shoulder looking at it. I should do that as like a cheat sometime. Just to make sure people are paying attention to my scroll or whatever. I might put the winning number up there one day. I know the person that I've got highlighted here has won in the past, but I don't think he's got a lot or she's got a lot of wins under her belt. Let me check that ever so quick like. Come on, there you are. I think, no kidding. Okay, the person that I've got pre-selected so far has never won, at least not that. So that's wonderful. All right, checking the rest of these. About 30 more seconds here. Looking for somebody who's closer. Wow, there's another really close one, but not close enough. Not closer than that one. 20 seconds. If you haven't got your guesses in, put them in. I don't think anybody's going to get closer than this. I'm going to put that in my winner pile here. And then I'm going to put this in and get that prepped, and I'll update it if somebody gets quicker in the next 10 seconds, if anybody gets closer. All right, let's close it off. The last posting that I see on here is Mark Wheeler. The winning number was 1350-1350. Wilson Kunzwana had 1345. So without doubt, Wilson, you are the winner of today's Total Tester Online. I don't show you as having won Total Tester in the past. If you has, it slipped past my radar. So congratulations. I have just posted in the chat feed at 1 minute past the hour the instructions, and I'm going to post them up here on the screen. How do you do that? You go to this page and then you go to the winner page and then you share it. I speak as if I'm actually speaking to you instead of myself, right? So Wilson Kunzwana, what you're going to do is you're going to send an email to me at my company address, daver@totalsem.com. In the body of the email, you must include 4 pieces of information. You must give me your YouTube name, Wilson Kunzwana, your real given name, first name and surname, the email address that we want to use. And if it's the same, fine, type them both in the same. The email address that you want us to send your access information to. I can't use the email address that's in the header. It's got to be in the body of the email. And which practice test, which TTO you would like. Give me the exam number. So maybe it's CV0-002 or N10-008, whatever the exam number is, not our product numbers, not the name of the exam. I don't want to know if it's A+ or Net Plus. I just need the exam number. You get that to me. I'll get that in the hands of the appropriate people tonight. And the first day they return to work after this holiday, they will send you an email. So congratulations, Wilson. Anything else on this page that I need to show? Maybe that one when we do the project. So we'll keep it there. Stop share. Okay. Well, congratulations, everybody. Thank you all for playing. So there's anything else in notes besides the project? No, next thing is project. See if any other comments and questions have popped up between now and then. You're very welcome, Wilson. Thank you, Tullowit. Tullowit nailed it. Sorry, Wilson, I got to cancel you and give the prize to Tullowit. Tullowit, I only show you having won once. You are certainly welcome to join in the festivities. Same for everybody else. If you won once or twice, I'll give it to you again. No questions asked. After 2 or 3 times, I'm going to be looking. I thought Wilson ran twice, but maybe his name is just so familiar because we see him here as such a regular. And I do appreciate all the turn-ups from all the regulars, those who have turned up. Not that you're turn-ups. What we got going on there? That's weird. Okay. I'm all about weird. So let's dive into this week's project using the Linux cat command. Unleash the cat. If you didn't see my banner, I just came up with that this morning. And so we're borrowing from this tutorial. Let me throw that up one final time. Tutorial link, share. And I will post this in the YouTube chat feed as well. Give me this arrow. It makes it easier to highlight text and copy it. Control C. All right, so you're going to go to rosehosting.com. It's an HTTPS. Whack blog, whack 10 basic cat commands in Linux with examples, all separated by dashes. I'll stop that share. I will post that right now. I did post it earlier, but I'll post it again. Tutorial. Cat command. All right, that's better. And I am now done with PDFs. I don't need anything else to show. I'm just going to close that thing altogether. Close it. Heck yeah. Save some memory on my preciously memory poor computer. Okay, so as I said, for that tutorial, for our presentation today, I've borrowed liberally from that tutorial, but I've had to make some changes in it to make it work here just a little more cleaner. To fit in the kind of format that we use here. So let's talk briefly about CAT, a critical tool for Linux users. If you're a Linux user and you do everything in a graphical user interface, just like you do in Windows, cool, you're a user. But the folks here are much more, I banged the mic, sorry about that, are much more than users in so many arenas. And many of you are looking to learn Linux or for the sake of certification, or just because you see it as a useful career skill. I certainly do. You need to spend time in the command line, and CAT is a frequently used tool. It's one of those tools that when you use it the first time because you've never used it, yeah, okay, it does that. I'll use it occasionally. But as time goes on and you become more and more involved in the Linux environment, that's one of those tools that you use more and more frequently. For A+, you do need to know its basic function, which is to display the contents of a text file. Now in the new A+, 1101 and 1102, you need to know a little bit more about one of the things we're going to demonstrate here, how to take the output of CAT, which is usually sent to the screen, and run it through another program for filtering. We call that piping. And so that's the new thing that you've got to know. So know what it is. It's a utility to display the contents of a text file to the screen or to send it as input to another file. And I'll show you some really neat things it can do because it does so much more. We're going to do 9 things in here, plus show you how to get to the one that shows the more things you can do. And it just goes on and on. It's built into every major Linux distro, works pretty much the same in all of them. What do I need for equipment to do today's project? A running copy of Linux. So Raspberry Pi, running Raspberry Pi OS, a dedicated machine that you've already built or are going to build, a virtual machine, whatever, with your favorite distro of Linux running on it. You're going to have to connect to your Linux box via the command line. So you can do an SSH connection, you can do a VNC connection and run their terminal application program. You can use a physically connected keyboard, mouse, and monitor, run the terminal application. Once you got it running, the only thing you're going to use is the keyboard. But that's the point here. Connect to and use Linux in the command line environment. That's all you need. You don't even need an internet connection today. You can do this so standalone, works fine. All right, let me connect you or connect me and show you. Let's go do this with Putty because I've got nice large text with Putty. And I'm going to do this on 141, 192.168.1.141. Log in as Pi, password. I know you can't see it yet. Raspberry, RASPBERRY. And I'm in. Let's share that. Share screen, Putty, share. Okay. So I'm in my home folder right now. Let's see if there's any files in there. I made some in advance. This tutorial that they use has us create some, just because I'm going to show you how to use CAT to create some. And then I have some created already in advance for the sake of speed. Text files in Linux, in fact, any file in Windows, in Linux, doesn't have a mandatory extension. I put these TXT extensions on them to make the presentation easier to understand, but we don't have to have those in Linux. A program doesn't have to have an EXE extension or com or bat or any other kind of extension. No file needs any kind of extension. We provide those extensions like py for our own personal usage so that we can say, oh yeah, that's a Python file. Here are these server private key and public key files. Those are text files. Obviously, these txt files are. So for instance, the basic usage of cat is if you're in the same folder as the file that you want to look at its contents, you simply say cat and then the file name, test1. Oh, wait, let's do something funny. Let's look at this Python file, test.py. And there's a Python script. It's not a real long one. Starts here and just goes down to about a page full of information. And then to see it, I can scroll up or scroll down on my terminal environment. This isn't part of the tutorial, but let me show you another thing here. No, let me do the other piece. You can also do a path to a file name. Let's say that I'm not in my home folder, but I want to see that file that's in my home folder. So let's go to, I don't know, let's go to the Etsy folder. So in order to see the contents of that test.py file, I could either manually move back to my home folder and do what we just did before, cat space test.py, or you can do the whole path here, not cd cat, root home, root pi, sorry, I say root, whack home, whack pi, whack test.py, and we see exactly the same thing. If I said cat test.py right where I am, it would look for a file called test.py here in the Etsy folder. And it says, I couldn't find a file like that. Sure, of course you won't. Let me show you something that's not in the tutorial or even in my notes, but it just came to me that might be useful. So how about I say cat home pi, and let's say the file was huge, dozens or hundreds of pages. Well, one of the things you can do instead of having it scroll all over the place and maybe even get so big that you can't see it is pipe it, send the output, redirect the output instead of going to the screen to another program. And there's a really useful program called Less. You've seen Less before. What it does is it shows you information one page at a time. So I can arrow down page by page here. I can page up, I can page down. So a little more convenient. Q to quit out of there. So that's a key concept that we need to know in A+, the new one. Programs, you can take the content, take their output and redirect them from when they would normally be. Cat uses what's called standard out, which means screen, and send them to the input of another program. That's called piping. And you got to know piping for the new A+, and you also have to know it for Linux Plus. Very, very important tool for us. Let me go back to my home folder. All right, so that's our first out of 9 or 10 things we're talking about. This is actually the second, how to look at the contents of a file. Now, here's something really interesting. You can use cat to create a file, or if a file already exists, add text to it. And what we do for that is we say cat, and then the greater than symbol, and the name of a file that you want to create with new content in there, dave.txt, enter. And now just start typing in what you want in there. First line, A. Second line, B. You get it, the idea. We'll do 3 lines in here. Do enter after the last line, and then Control D as in dog or delta. And now let's take a look. LS minus LA makes it a little cleaner view. Gives me an alphabetical listing by default. And there it is, dave.txt. And if I want to see the results of that, I can cat dave.txt. And there it is. Now, when it comes to file manipulation, it's also important to know that if I do that same command again, Now let's do a clear here. And let's do another cat.dave, cat.dave.text. Sorry. Cat create dave.text. Notice that it doesn't give me a warning that you're going to overwrite it. It's because I haven't overridden it yet. And how about new first, new second, and new third. Enter. Now, when I do Control D, no warnings, no threats, no errors. This is Linux. Okay, this in Windows, if you try to do that, it says, hey, there's already a file called dave.txt. Are you sure you want to overwrite it, or would you like to create that as dave_01.txt? Nope, it just wipes out the old one. And that's the same is always true when it comes to manipulating file copies and moves and stuff like that. So let's cat this and make sure that happened the way I said it did, dave.txt. And sure it is, there's our new first, new second, and new third. So that has nothing to do with cat as much as it does with managing files in Linux. Cool. All right, that's the first two elements. Cat to view the contents of a file, cat to create a file. Was I supposed to name that something specific? Yes, I was. So rather than make a new one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename dave.txt to something else. Here's dave.txt. To rename in Linux, what you do is you move the file. Move dave.txt to a file called, if it's in the same folder, testfile.txt. Poof, done. ls minus la. Dave.txt is gone. Test file text is now created. Let's check it. Cat test file.txt. And there is our new first, new second, new third. MV, the move command. By the way, if you try and do this stuff outside of your home folder, you may have to precede it with the sudo command. Depends on if you have permissions to do what you're trying to do. All right, did that. I want to do one more demo of a little more sophisticated file. We're going to cat it. It's in another folder. Let me copy paste it so I don't typo it and have to replace it. Come here, you. All right, so I'm going to do a cat command on a file in the Etsy whack Apache 2 whack sites enabled folder called 000-default.conf. Enter. And there it is. It's not too big of a file. Starts with virtual host *80, ends with whack virtual host. And then there's a comment line at the very end. You can vim this thing. Another day, another time. I bring that up because we're going to use that as a file to do some experiments with. I needed something with a little more content. So for instance, this is something that you've got to know for A+. It's a filter program that allows me to send input into it. And the only thing that it will output to the screen is what I say to not filter out. The default is don't filter anything except, don't filter anything except what I'm about to put in. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put that same command in. Come here, you. So we're going to cat it there. I got to move this. You won't see it move it. I move that. And we're going to send it to the grep. Redirect the output to the grep command. And we have to tell grep what we want to filter for. I want to see all the lines that have 80 in them. And it'll show me, it always shows the whole line. So grep for 80. Hit the enter key. And so even though there was about 25 lines in there, there was only one line that had 80. The line said virtual host *80. It highlighted what it found. So cool. What happens if I do the same thing with 8? There's a couple. There's one's got virtual host with the 80, and then here's one that had trace 8 in it. So redirecting to grep, you can also grep a file name directly. Grep space the name of the filter, space the name of the file you want to do. But here we're taking the output of cat and sending it into grep as if it were reading a file directly. So grep is a command you got to know for A+. Piping is a command you got to know for A+. Now, let me show you another grep output here. There was a line in that file that tells me where to put web pages so that the web server, the Apache web server, knows how to read them. I don't remember what the name of that line is or what the variable in there is, but I remember it had the word root in it. So let's do a cat grep root. And I get no results. Because grep and its filter are case sensitive. So root in the text file that we're trying to read starts with an R. Oh, there it is. The document root is in whack-var, whack-www, whack-html. This is where I should put my HTML pages, my PHP pages, my JPEG pages for my web server. I can make other folders and tell it how to do that for a little more organized approach. But notice what's here is, or what happens is that there's kind of a built-in wildcard. If it's got root in it, no matter what comes before or what comes after, he's good to go with that. Let's see if that's true. How about anything that has capital R and a small o? Okay, only one line had an RO in it with a cap R, but it says any line that has RO together with a cap O and a lowercase, sorry, cap R, lowercase o, that gets found. Sweet. That's number 3. Now, how about, let's try that same one, and then I'll go do something else. Let's add, I want to get line numbers on this thing, because oftentimes you will get instructions when fixing things to say, check line number 34 of the original configuration file. So if we add the switch -n, and let's get rid of this grep, we don't need that. Just show me the entire contents of the file and number the lines. There we go. This file has 46 lines in there. Line 13 is a blank. Line 39 is another blank. Coincidence? 3 times 13 is 39 and they're both blanks? I don't know. But that makes it really useful if, for instance, you sent a file to somebody and you're talking them through it. Maybe you're going to make them do a change. And it's got a lot of similar things in there. Go to the line that says use variable blah, 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 dot X. And there's 71 lines that all say use variable blah, 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 blah. So you find that in yours, and now you can walk them through cat and say, do this cat -n on the file name, and that'll show you line number 64 or 218 or whatever it might be. So, all right, cat -n gives me line numbers. Let me go back to my home folder if I wasn't already there. And I'm going to use the example that that I'm using in my tutorial here, just so I don't start making things up on the top of my head. Cat, stop it. Okay, how about cat -n? Which file name did I use there? Test file 1.txt. Test file 1.txt. And so there are 4 lines in that file, and they all start with this lorem ipsos. How about I did that without the -n? Oh, I pre-numbered that one. No, I didn't. Okay, so here we go. This is kind of cool. The line numbers that I put in there, the text that I put in there, each had a line number 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I did -n, it added these lines 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I cat it, this is the original contents of the file. Poor planning on my part, huh? Oh well. Wow. Oh, there was a typo that I didn't fix. Popularized is supposed to have a Z. Their tutorial had popularized misspelled all over the place. It had this S in it. And I thought I fixed them all, but I must have missed one. All right, now here's another really cool thing you can do with CAT. You can use it to display multiple files, one after the other in sequence. So if I want to look at these three files, test1, test2, and test3.txt, there are three ways that I could do it. One, the hardest way, cat test1.txt. Okay, there it is. Says test file 1. I can work myself out a little bit easier here with test2.txt and do it again with 3. That's the hardest way, doing them all one at a time. How about we list them? Test1.txt, test2.txt, test3.txt, all on the same line. It doesn't save much typing, but it shows me the results all together. Now, why is that useful? Because I can take that output and redirect it, create a new file. I don't know, let's call it combined.txt. So I've taken the contents of 3 different text files and used the cat command to read them out and send their results into a new single file. There it is, combined.txt. And how about we cat it? Cat combined.txt. Exactly what we would expect there to be, right? Cool. Now, this is the coolest one to my mind. It's possible to use wildcards. And I made these files similarly named. They're all called test number.txt. So how about I look at all of them by saying cat test question mark. That means one character in this position can have any value .txt. This is something you got to know in Windows in the command line, how to use the question mark wildcard as well as the asterisk. And they work very similar in Linux. So show me all the test something.txt files together. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. That's not something that was in their tutorial. Nice. That gets me through 5. I love this one. I made a file already. Let me show it to you. It's called order. And we'll just cat order.txt. First line, second line, third line. These aren't alphabetical. These are just 3 lines that I made. They have periods. Now, how about instead of them turning up in the order that I typed them in, I want to generate the output in reverse order, huh? Well, cat is the command that we use to display the contents of a file in the order that they're in. So the Linux folks have done something really cool. They said, well, if you want to display it in reverse order, we're not going to make that as a switch in the cat command. We could, in fact, we did. But how about we just make another command that does the same thing as cat, except it shows the output in reverse order. Since cat is forward, stop it. Oh, that's just no good. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'll take that. Get out of there. All right, so cat is forward, tac is reverse. So let's tac order.txt. And let's say this were a really long file and I wanted to make a reverse order copy of this file. You could do that, right? You could just say tac order.txt and make a new file, order rev.txt. So there's order.txt, there's order rev.txt. And rather than me catting them, take my word for it. One's in forward order and the other is in reverse order. How are we doing here? It's 29 minutes past the hour. We are almost done. Now, love this one. I have a file. It already exists. Let's pick one here. ls minus la. I made a bunch of test files here. Let's experiment with the first one. Let's experiment with this one, testfile1.txt. What's in there? Cat testfile1.txt. Okay, I put 4 lines in there. I want to put 4 more lines in there. In fact, I would like to repeat the same 4 lines. So what I'm going to do here is, this is putty. I think I can right click now. All right, I'm going to take those 4 lines from another document. Really, I will. Nah, all right. Here, I picked 3 lines of text from another document. And what I would like to do is I would take this this testfile1.txt, and I want to add 3 lines to it. Now I could open up a text editor, Vi, Vim, Nano, whatever, but I could also do this. I can say cat double caret. That means take an existing file and add to it test file 1.txt. And he says, okay, what do you want to add? The 3 lines that I just copied, I could manually type in or whatever. Control D. And now let's cat that file again. And there it is. I've added 3 lines to the end of it. So a single caret creates a file. A double caret adds content to an existing file. Nice stuff. How about showing it in reverse? Okay, there's my new lines starting in reverse order and the original 4 lines in reverse order. Where are we at? We're on line, that was number 7. We appended text to a file. Number 8 to display. Okay, heads and tails. So you've got a long file, and I'm only interested in the last couple of lines. Maybe it's a log file. So let's go back and do. Okay, I'll do this one, that test file 1. I'm going to say cat. Really, I will. How about cat test file 1.txt. And then we're going to redirect the output. We're going to pipe it. That's the pipe symbol through a program called head. And head says, whatever you put into me, I'm only going to show a certain number of the first set of lines. And we specify how many lines it should show from the beginning with head followed by a minus and a number. So instead of seeing all of that, I just want to see the first 2 lines, head -2. And there we go. How about I just want to see the last 2 lines? You got it. Instead of head, it's a tail. So that's really useful when you got a gigantic file and you don't want to look through the whole thing. I just wanted to see what the title of this first line of the file is, or the first 10 lines, or I just want to see the last 10 things that got logged. I don't want to see hundreds of megabytes of a log file. We use the head and tail program, redirect the output of cat into those programs. So we saw 3 programs like that. We saw 4 programs like that today. We can pipe the output to head. We can pipe it to tail. We can pipe it to grep for filtering. And at the beginning, we piped it to less, so we can get 1 screen of information at a time. Okay, that was 9 and 10. The last thing that I'm going to show you, we'll close this thing up, is that ain't all. That's the commonest stuff that admins and techs and even DevOps do. But there's more that it can be done. And we know that with many commands, there are 1 or 2 ways to get help and find out the other things they do. Most commands will support minus minus help, but not everything. And this is a very short version of help. It's a summary. So we get the minus A's and capital minus B. If you want a little more useful information, we check the man pages. Man, show me the manual for cat. And that gives me, it runs it through less, so I can scroll line down, page down, and get, this one doesn't have a stunning more amount of information than minus minus help, but some absolutely do. And you got to know about man pages and you got to know about minus minus help for A+. So cat was kind of a good thing. It's a good utility to know, and it gives us an opportunity to explore a lot of stuff that we need to know for A+. Piping, important commands, head, tail, grep, and so forth. All right, let's close out of that, exit. Hey, screen sharing has stopped. The shared window is closed. I can live with that. So that's today's project. With 25 minutes left in show, I wanted to do a shorter one today. Why did I want to do a shorter one today? I had something specific in mind. This has been a job murderous week. I had this laptop that the company gave me to do a project on. I talked to the powers that be back when this project started and said, I need a shiny new laptop so I can do all the really cool things and demo Windows 11. And they said, absolutely, we'll get that for you right away. And then I turn up one day at the office and there is this junk pile sitting on my desk. Oh, you know, budget, because work with that. Fine. So I worked with that until I couldn't work with it anymore. The keyboard has maple syrup or putty or something in it. 16% of the keys don't work. And it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And so it finally crapped out the other day. I had to go get a new computer on my own. And I'm going to wind up taking it back when I'm done with this project. But that caused me a lot of delay because I had to rebuild that machine to do everything that the other machine was doing with the capture programs and all that good stuff. And so I got a little behind, and now I'm cranked up again. The last couple of nights I've been working like crazy, but all that stuff, rebuilding scripts and everything, has just chewed up my time every night until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I haven't even thought about the show. And my plan last night around midnight, I'm getting tired. I can't do anything. I finished last night's projects. Said, you know what? I don't have a project for Raspberry Pi tomorrow. We're going to do an hour worth of Q&A and close it down. And then I checked one of my idea sources and said, oh, look at that. I got time. I could write that up into a project in the morning in 3 hours. And so I got up early this morning, and in 3 hours I wrote today's project. And that's why it's kind of a short project, because that's all the time that I had to write it up. But I'm really pleased with it. I like what it teaches. So I'm very happy with the direction we're going with that. All right, let's go see what's happened on the chat feeds and get this page up and ready for when we come back to it. Got to change that. Show. Here we go. All right, so nothing. No. Oh, it scrolled. I didn't have that thing locked down. All right. Wilson killed his message back at 3:03. No, you are not Mohan. Andre de Goyert. My brain hurts. Okay, so your brain hurts. I understand that. Okay, you can't watch this and learn it all from watching it. Is there a solution to that, Dave? Why, yes. Yes, there is. There are 2 solutions. One, you could go to the tutorial link that I posted at 3:05 my time, and now we're past 5 minutes past the second hour. Or you could go and download my notes and my outlines and my labs and all that stuff from, hey, let's post everything again. We got plenty of time today. From Dave's server. I'm just going to type it in. http:// www.pirsquare.zapto.org. All right. So at time 3:29 my time local, 29 minutes after the second hour, you can get that. And let me post the other two links. They'll be up for a little bit of time and everybody can do that. We'll post the discount code link and the Discord invitation. Okay, there's the Discord link at 40 minutes past the hour and the Discord invite. This is for everybody who's joined since I post those around the beginning of the show. All right, there's all, okay. And the last thing, the tutorial, I guess I can throw that up here. Today's tutorial. All right, 4 links posted to the chat feed. Good stuff for today's show. All right, what else we got here? I grok that grep. I love grok. Nobody knows what grok means. Awk, AWK, SED, SED. Those are called inline text editors. They're really cool. grep is also an inline text editor. So if you were like a Unix guru back in the days when Unix existed before Linux did, and you wanted to prove your geekdom, you used to wear a shirt that said awk sed grep, SED. I haven't seen mine in decades. It's up in a box in the attic. Oh, you're so very welcome. Yeah, hard work. 3 hours worth of editing up somebody else's lab and typing it up. Yeah, it's cool though. And then making the labs. I think you were going to share the A+ command line stuff with me too. Yes, I'm doing that in Discord. You know what? Here, I got time. Give me a second. I will go find it. I don't know why the heck it disappeared because I had it up the other day. Something happened to my machine in the last 2 days after a recent reboot. Usually I'll reboot and I can go get anything that I've ever had. I'm sorry, everything logs back in. When I fire up my web pages, they all come back and I'm still logged into everything I was, and everything vanished with this week's reboot. And I don't know what or why or how. And files are being lost. Stream. Where did the stream files go? The stream notes, show notes. I'm going to find this. Give me a second. Bear with me. Go up higher. PQR. How much higher do I have to go? My folders. What is this? Okay, Dropbox. Stream. Stream index 2022. Okay, so I need stream index 2020. It's in here. Wouldn't it be awesome if they were all lost? There it is. Stand by. It's coming up. Really? Oh, there it is. Okay. Came up eventually. All right. The Linux commands. CompTIA required A+ Linux commands. 1, 2. All right, there's the show that I did on it. I did this on August 14th of 2020. I'm going to post the link right here in this chat right now. It's got a title. It fits here. Friday Pi Day feature, required CompTIA Linux commands. And we did a Wireshark on that episode, but there's a link for it. So that's all of the commands that you need for the current 1001 and 1002 course. However, that's also about 85% of the commands for the new one. So again, I'm going to do another one. That having been done, it must be me. I am going to bail out right after we're done with the show here so I can get packed up. And apologies, I'm not going to go on Discord today because I've covered this. That was why I needed to get on. I'll eyeball it while I do the last of my usual 10-minute shutdown projects. But there's your link at 3 44 minutes past the hour time. Wow. Okay. The first real question of the day. See if I'm missing anything here. TD Washington, good job on the pivot. Thanks. You're very welcome. It must. Rahabar, can you please explain SIP trunk? Wow. Okay. I haven't played SIP in a bazillion years. This is the SIP is a protocol, one of about 7 protocols used to set up a VoIP phone call. Now, that seems like it should be a really simple concept. Man, when VoIP first came out, it was messy, okay? Because built into the internet are problems that are hidden from us. Packets get lost all the time. They get retransmitted all the time, but even the ones that get retransmitted wind up at their destination. Well, when you do that with a phone, little snippets of data that have been converted from your analog voice into digitized information, then sent out, then they get lost, some of them get found, then they arrive at the other end, they get de-digitized, convert back into audio, and it comes into your phone, and what you hear is this horrible, echoey nonsense. So you can hold conversations, but it was terrible. And so they had to build anti-echo protocols and all things like that. Okay, so SIP is one of the negotiation protocols that happens between not 2 phones, but you started by picking up your phone and you dial in a number. That information goes into a box, a VoIP gateway. The VoIP gateway goes and finds the VoIP gateway at the destination, and they start negotiating on behalf of the 2 phones that are going to be involved. They do setup protocols, they do trunking protocols, they do anti-echo protocols, and then when everything is looking good, gateway to gateway, then they get the phones involved and make ringtones and things like that. Well, a SIP trunk is ready for this, the protocolar connection between the 2 gateways. Think of it as I don't want to say a trunking protocol. Think of it as a VPN protocol. It's a dedicated channel that's used to pass all these protocols and negotiations between the 2 VoIP gateways. It's something that if I were going to do a class on, that class would run 2 hours as part of probably an 8-hour presentation on VoIP. And even then it wouldn't be expert level. And I'm not an expert, I don't claim to be one, but that's the basic premise that says there's a bunch of protocols that have to be communicated between the 2 gateways. They get a dedicated channel, process channel called a trunk between those 2 gateways for all that processing to happen, and all that negotiation to happen. I hope that helps. Okay, and that looks like winds up most of the stuff in here. Let me take a look at this happy stuff. So Mike's show, as we now know, there will be no show. It's Memorial Day here in the US. That's the day that we recognize our military fallen. We memorialize them. It's a national holiday in this country. So no show at all for anybody. Mike told me he's going to make a 30-second video. I will get that from him when I'm done today, and I will post it in the upcoming slot holder for him. I'll do that on Monday morning from wherever I am. I expect to be in West Texas on Monday morning and Tuesday morning and probably Wednesday morning. We got some stuff to do there back at the kids' alma mater, setting up a apartment and getting some stuff for him and all that stuff. Last year, huzzah, finally, because he transferred colleges, the new college said, oh no, you don't have this and you don't have this and you don't have this. All of our freshmen do that. So he had to take a year off and go grab some at the local community college. And then, so this will be his 5th year of school. That's okay. I like writing checks. Also keeping in mind, July 11th on Mike's show, IT instructor from Essex North Shore Agriculture and Technical Show in Ipswich, Massachusetts, Elaine Batzer joins Mike. She is a tech instructor of of CompTIA stuff and CCNA Plus, and the nature of her program isn't just pass tests and get STEM background. It's kind of like a trade school, but a little more academic than that. So she's trying to get her students hireable out the door. So she has a lot of insights on the people that are hiring and the kind of skills that they want. If you are in the tech job hunt, IT world, you want to see Mike's show on July 11th. We're still a month and a half away, not quite that. You get the idea, but want you there for that. All right. Any other final questions before we wrap this thing up? And Andre de Goyer, Memorial Day. Yeah, you guys had your Remembrance Day a couple of weeks ago. You do it on May 4th. And I don't recall what you called yours, but respects to the those who are fallen and their families who are left behind, and the great sacrifices that both of those folks, the fallen and the supporting groups, have made. Okay, well, let's wind it up. 10 minutes early is a painless thing to do. I can live with that. I really loathe to close early, but just because, you know, some of my cohorts close way earlier, and that just bothers me, but this won't be too awful bad. I am Dave Rush, and this has been Drama. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars, resident pie specialist as ever and always. I wish you a great weekend. Take care of each other, take serious steps to stay healthy, and if possible, call or visit your parents. Never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. And with that, good night. I will not see you on Discord. I will see you at Mike's AMA next Wednesday. And until then, I am about out of here. Let's give the dancing gopher just a couple moments of time. Here, while he's doing his dance, I got to tell you, I have hunted for the dancing gopher for 1,000,000 years. And you can't find one that can dance. They sing, sometimes the head can move, but the whole motion thing, tough to get. But I found this one. I took my chances. It didn't say if it worked or not, but the price was right. And I'm so excited. All right. With that, everybody have a good weekend. Later.